Uh, yeah. I made so many mistakes. Guess that's the only way that you can know that you tried. I should've pawned on the brake. Guess you see everything clear when you look from behind. How many people be blaming me, pointing their finger? I guess you do everything right. I ain't afraid to admit that I made some mistakes and I'm selfish and I got some pride. But at the end of the day, we gotta examine ourselves. We can't live in a lie. I don't wanna be reprobate. Keep sinning and sinning and sinning and going at 5. I had to take a look. I had to get with myself. I had to go look myself in the eyes. I had to open my Bible and learn all the laws, had to give me some standards for life. I was just sinning, I wasn't gonna stop. I risked it all and I lost a lot. Chasing the money and chasing these facts only got me caught up in a life full of crime. I could've died, I could've got shot, could've got time but stuck in the box. Could've went down a whole different way. All my mistakes really cost me a lot. I made some mistakes, y'all. Blessed to be okay, y'all. I got in my own way, y'all. And now I repent, I stopped all the sinning, got a new beginning. I gave some forgiveness to me. I had to forgive myself, I had to forgive my past, I had to forgive my dad, had to forgive my mama. Growing up with all that drama, growing from place to place, it was real hard, we were bumming. I got a lot of their ways, did some of the same things, so how I'm a judge. I can't look down on my people, all of my ways is evil. Paint you a picture no easy. Keeping these laws ain't easy, better believe it. Better all suffering than never leave it. He gave us his son, he knew what we need. He gave us his word, now we gotta read it. Yeah. Cause we gon' make mistakes, y'all. Everybody make mistakes. I made some mistakes, y'all. Everybody made mistakes. Made a lot of mistakes, y'all. We all made mistakes. I made some mistakes, y'all. Everybody made mistakes.
They called me.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I think she choosing. Okay, we proving. Gotta make sure your head right before I pursue it. My Akim know your aqua. That's who introduced us. We both know the most. I ain't the author of confusion. Let's do it right. Physically, yeah, you my type. Gotta make sure that mentally and spiritually we moving right. I bring out the precepts, but I also like a movie night. I'm trying to be your head, and I want you to be my wife. Seek you first the kingdom and its righteousness will be alright. Dancing in the dark, but I make sure that we don't lead a light. You know I'ma lead you right, dwelling with you with knowledge. I ain't handling the word deceitfully, ain't on no follow. Okay, ooh, I think she choosing. Okay, we proving. Gotta make sure your head right before I pursue it. My Akim know your aqua. That's who introduced us. We both know the most. I ain't the author of confusion. Let's do it right. I think she choosing. Okay, we proving. Gotta make sure your head right before I pursue it. My Akim know your aqua. That's who introduced us. We both know the most. I ain't the author of confusion. I've been knowing you for a long time. I've been seeing how you serve the most high, and I think I seen something in you, that made me wanna get with you, like the way you stay up in the scriptures, and the way you look in all your pictures, are you sure you wanna go this route, say she like the way I bring it out, okay, ooh, I think she choosing, okay, we proving, gotta make sure your head right, before I pursue it, my Akim know your aqua, that's who introduced us. We both know the most. I ain't the author of confusion. Let's do I think she choosing. Okay, we proving. Gotta make sure your head right before I pursue it. My Akim know your aqua. That's who introduced us. We both know the most. I ain't the author of confusion. Let's do it right.
In times. Legendary Bandit Loose in the building tonight.
Today, The members of the Science and Security Board moved the hands of the doomsday clock forward. We moved the clock forward the closest it has ever been to midnight. 90 seconds.
Weapons forming, but they not prospering. He preparing that table, they gotta watch you win. Tug of war with that flesh. Y'all was cool, now you ops again. Fight the good fight, don't let it box you in. Breath of life, let his spirit be your oxygen. He went away to send it, cause he knew the hearts of men. The spirit telling me not to switch. Put my hand to the plow, I ain't dropped it since. Atomic bulletins, nuclear scientists, all of them weapons only gonna bring us close to where Zion is. At first they won't try to hear. Now they see it and they get the message loud and clear. When you got inner peace, they want you out of here. If you a speaker, they wanna blast you. You a pioneer. Now that the whole world watching the minute hand, repent or perish. If you hearing it, it's still a chance. We looking ancient again. 2 Chronicles 7:14. Let's make an amends. Was a slave to the sin that was caging the sin. Who dealt us this wicked hand? No way you could win. Becoming dangerous men to try to pay for the rent. In the gutter, you get one strike, straight to the pen. In their heart is deceit. On their faces a grin. We need solid brothers and sisters, not occasional friends. It's time we racing against the 70th week. Wait for the prince. Still studying the major prophets. We found the truth and the way they hit it made it obvious. Would you look at the time? In with the truth, out with the lies. We got 90 seconds until the show begins. Peace to the laborers, pay them homage. And Hamashiach, it ain't nothing that you can't accomplish. Asking his name, you gon' receive it. He made a promise. You have not, cause you ask not, or ask amiss. The intercessor, he not a genie that grants you wish. You don't forgive, should he forgive you of your past offense? Go forgive your brother and come ask again. He knows your inner thoughts, so you can't pretend. Look, they say we only got 90 seconds. Apply the pressure, you know time is precious. Straightforward and unashamed with his gospel message. Repent, Messiah's coming, though many may not accept it. We about to cross the line, where the lights is off and the cars decline. Where the food is scarce and water is hard to find. And talking like how we talking ain't authorized. It's your moment, Jacob. You've been called to rise. The furnace of affliction melted the shackles away. Your transgressions are forgotten. Get back in your place. You broke the laws, but I'm greeting you with open arms. The prodigal son. I'm proud of you, son. From a slave to a priest. Look how far that you come. Yeah, well done is what we trying to hear. We got 90 seconds until we out of here.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
All right, Shalom, Israel, Shalom. Welcome back to Law School. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. It's in his name that we do all these classes and give him all honor and glory and praise. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So today we're going to be in Genesis chapter 7. All right, we left off on Genesis 6 where the flood began to start. Noah was instructed to build an ark and to load up animals into the ark. All right, load up the animals into the ark. So that's what we went over last time. We touched on the sons of God a great bit to show you that those were talking about the seed line that God had chosen in men, right? Coming from the chosen Adam that slept with the daughters of men. All right, that was confusion in the earth. That was not supposed to happen like that. All right, so if you're confused about that in your spare time, we touched on it a great deal in Genesis chapter 6, but we're gonna move into chapter 7 at this time, right? So let me share my screen. There we go. All right, Genesis chapter 7, and we're going to start at verse number 1. All right, it says, so here it says the title here, the flood covers the earth. All right, so this is when the water, the first drops about to fall. All right, it says verse 1, when everything was ready. Let me get in the KJV real quick. All right. Knew that one right. It said when everything was ready. All right, verse 1, it says, and the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house into the ark. All right, come thou and all thy house into the ark. So something to keep in mind about Noah. Noah was righteous in the eyes of the Lord, right? And with that being the case, right, Noah was able to save his whole house. Now, I don't say that Noah's family was wicked or anything like that, right? But because Noah was righteous, he was able to save his whole house, right? Let me get that in a book, Acts, real quick. All right, Acts chapter 16. And we're going to go to verse 31. We're going to get a couple precepts. Acts 16 and verse 31. Right? It says, and they said, believe on the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, and thou shalt be saved and thy house. Right? So just from one person being righteous in the house, that could save your entire house. That could save your whole family. All right. Noah was able to save his whole family. So this brother here, this jailer, he believed, it says, and thy shalt, it says he saved his whole house as a result of that. Right. So you never know. Let's say this to the brothers or sisters that may be watching or listening that are just came in the truth, you know, and you may have an unbelieving spouse, right? That's pleased to dwell with you, right? Let me get that in the book of 1 Corinthians. Right? You may have an unbelieving spouse, or your kids don't quite believe for real like that, right? What does the Bible say about that? 1 Corinthians 7 and 12, it says, but to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, right? What does that mean, pleased to dwell with him? She may not believe, but she's not hindering you when it comes to you keeping the commandments. All right. She don't believe it, right? But she ain't hindering you from doing it. She ain't stopping you from keeping the Sabbath. Right. It says, let him not put her away. So you can't just put somebody away just because they don't believe. Right. It says, and the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the why? For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now they are holy. Right? So you as a believer could sanctify your whole house. Right? You could sanctify your whole house just by you believing. Right? Let me go to the book of Job real quick. Let's get another example. All right. In Job, we know that Job was righteous, right? It says that in verse 1, there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil, right? Now, when you read on down in verse 3 and verse 5, it tells you that his sons were celebrating their birthdays, right? And Job, right? Job, let me read verse 5. It says, and it was so when the days of their feasting were gone about that Job sent and sanctified them, right? It says, and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually, right? So Job sanctified his house, right? By making burnt offerings. That's what we did at that time, to reconcile ourselves back to the Lord, right? But we can do that today by going through the sacrifice of Yahweh Shah, the blood of the King, right? Going in prayer, praying for forgiveness for those that don't believe that may be in our family, right? Let me get that in the book of 1 Samuel. You got to pray for all your brothers and sisters, man, right? You got to pray for them, even if they may be in the wrong and not see it, right? Now, it's one thing to know better and you just refusing to repent. That's another story. I'm talking about our brothers and sisters that's in the world that don't know like you know in this truth, right? Let me get that in 1 Samuel 12 and verse 23. Right? It says, moreover, as for me, God forbid that I should sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you, but I will teach you the good and right way. Right? So this is Samuel speaking to the nation of Israel because they wanted a king. He was hot about that. Right? He said, I'm not going to cease in praying for you though. Right? Because that would show what? That I got a grudge for you. So point being, you as a righteous sister or righteous brother, you can literally save your house just based on your behavior, based on what you do, right? Let me go back to Job. I wanted to get a point out of Job. Right? Yeah. Job chapter 1 and verse 9, right? It says, so you see that Job was praying for his household. Right. It says, then Satan answered the Lord and said, doth Job fear God for naught? Has not thou made an hedge about him and about his house? So the Lord put not only a hedge about Job, but he put one about his house, even though his house, one would say, was out of order. Right. We find out later in the scriptures that his wife didn't believe. His kids and daughter was celebrating the birthdays. Right, Job had to make sacrifices on behalf of his household. Right, it says, but the Lord put a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he have on every side. Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. Right, so this is the same type of thing that went on with Noah. Right, Noah, because of his righteousness. Right, let's read it again. Genesis 7:1. It says, and the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. So he saved his whole house into the ark because the Lord seen him righteous before everybody else that was on the earth. Right, let's go on. Verse 2. It says, of every clean beast thou shalt take thee by sevens. Right, so that whole just 2 of every animal thing that they teach you in Sunday school is out the window. The Lord said, of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens. Right, the male and his female. So in chapter 6, when it was saying 2 by 2, it meant male and female. It says, and of the beasts that are not clean, 2. So the unclean beasts, he told Noah to bring 2 of them, but the clean ones take 7, a male and a female. Right, so that means what? 7 cows, 7 sheep, 2 pigs, 2 men and 2 men and two sets of pigs. All right, 7 sets of cows, male and a female, that kind of thing. It says the male and his female. Right, verse 3. It says, of the fowls also of the air by sevens, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. So this was so that the animals wouldn't be completely wiped out. Right, it says, verse 4, for yet 7 days, a week. You got a week to do all this. Now imagine that kind of task. You had to have a spirit on you to accomplish that, man. He had to get lions, right? He had to have tigers, snails. He had to go and get these things. And he had a week to get them. It says, for yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. Right? So the Lord killeth. The Lord killeth, man, and he maketh alive. All right, let me get that in the book of 1 Samuel. The Lord kills and he makes alive. 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse number 6. It says, the Lord killeth and maketh alive. Right? He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. So the Lord can take life and he can give life. Right? He created good and he created evil. All that's of the Most High. All right, let's go back. So he said, 40 days, I'm going to make it rain. 40 days and 40 nights. And every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noah did according unto all that the Lord commanded him. He did everything the Most High said do. He didn't add to it and take away from it. He did it the way he said do it. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth, doing it as an old man. Right now, I don't say that he was a feeble old man. We would imagine that he had his strength still to be able to do this. Right? It says, and Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him into the ark because of the waters of the flood, of clean beasts and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth. It says there went in 2 and 2 unto Noah into the ark. So that's what the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month. Now that part right there is important, right? It's important to know that this all took place in the 2nd month. And I'm going to explain why later. It says in the 17th day of the month. All right. So in the 2nd month and the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open. All right. Now that's important to know. It said the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open. Now, the great deep is not talking about the ocean. It's not talking about the ocean, right? It's talking about what we would call space, all right? It's talking about what we would call space. Let me get a precept. All right, 2nd Esdras. Not 2nd Esdras. I think I'm thinking about, hold on. It's escaping me. Hold on. Bear with me. Let me get this precept. Second Esdras chapter 16. Let me go there real quick. Yeah. 2nd Esdras 16 and verse 58. Right? It says, he has shut the sea in the midst of the waters, and with his word have he hanged the earth upon the waters. All right. So what we call space is water. That's the earth hanging up in water, according to the Bible, right? It's right there on the screen. Right. So let's look at Genesis 7 again. It says in verse 11, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open. So according to the Bible, rain it's not like how what we learned in school, where they taught us that all the water that's on the earth evaporates into the air and go into the cloud, and the cloud get full, and then it come down back on the earth. The Bible says the windows of heaven gotta be opened up, right? Just think about it. When it rains, we see the water fall down, right? You see it clear as day. So how come if it's like what they say in school where the water evaporates back up into the, how come we don't see water going up in the sky? And then the way we see it fall down, because that's science, right? That science is not according to the Bible. The Bible says that the great deep was broken up and the windows of heaven were opened up, right? So that water comes from what we call space. The windows of heaven have to be open, right? Let's keep going. It says, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. It says, in the self same day entered Noah, Salakia, and Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, and the sons of Noah, Salakia, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the three wives of his sons with them into the ark. It says, they and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird after every sort. It says, and they went into Noah, and they went in unto Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. It says, and they that went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. So the Lord closed the door. Noah didn't have to shut the door. The Most High shut it. Yahweh shut it, right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. It says, and the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bear up the ark, and it was lift up above the earth. So we talked about that last time, right? You got to imagine what it was like when them first drops hit people's face. When them first drops hit people, you got to imagine what that was like, right? They had never felt nothing like that before. That was the Lord showing a new sign and a new wonder in the earth to prove that he was God, right? Let me get that in the book of Sirach. Sirach chapter, let me see, 36. Right? In verse 6, it says, show, now if I'm going to start at verse 5, it says, and let them know thee as we have known thee, that there is no God but only thou, O God. Show new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. Right? So the Lord will show new signs in the earth to prove to you that he's God. Like he did with Korah and Nathan. He opened up the earth, right? Never had they ever seen nothing like that. And he closed it back up over them. Nobody had never seen that, right? The same way nobody had ever seen rain on the earth. So the Lord did that, man. Let's go back. It says that water raised up to the point where it lifted up the ark. Now, I don't know how much water that would have took. Let me see. Let me do a little search real quick. Let me see, to make a boat. Start to right. It says, let me see if they're gonna tell me. I don't want to know how they float. Okay, let's just use this for an example, right? It says the pioneering spirit is the heaviest sea vessel in the world. It is a construction ship that weighs a total of 403 342,000 tons. Even with its massive weight, this ship still floats on the water. This ship displaces around 900,000 metric tons of water to be able to float. The density of water is much less than steel, right? So that'll give you an idea. Now that's saying that's the heaviest boat, but even with that boat, it take 900 metric tons of water. It has to displace it, meaning have to be that's what has to be around it, right, for it to be able to float. So it's a lot. That's a lot of water. It took a lot of water for that boat. So you can only imagine Noah and his family's thoughts, because you can feel once you start to float. Once you buoyant and you floating, you can feel it. They felt that ark lift up. Like, dang, that water done got high. We floating, right? Let's go back. Verse 17 again, it says, and the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bear up the ark, and it was lift up above the earth. And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth. And the ark went upon the face of the waters. It says, and the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. So every hill that was on the earth was covered up. All right, 15 cubits upward did the water prevail. So how much? Let's see how high that is. How high is 15 cubits? That's 22 and a half feet deep. It says, since a cubit is considered by most authorities to be about 18 inches, this would make the depth 22 and a half feet. That's deep, bruh. That's deep. 22 and a half feet. That's high, man. They ain't never seen nothing like that, right? Approximately 21 feet. So everybody's saying the same thing, right? So it's got here, the Great Pyramid of Giza is approximately 481 feet. So that we'll get to that later, Lord willing, in Genesis, where they want to build the Tower of Babel. But that was what led people to start trying to build structures like that, right? Let's build something at least over 22 feet high. That way, if the Lord was the flood the earth again, we can survive it, right? That's 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. So that means there were all the mountains were less than 22 feet. Right? It says, and all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both fowl and of cattle and of beasts, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. Little babies, every man, every woman was dead on this earth, man. They was dead. Right? Let me get a precept. The Lord killed. Nobody is exempt when it comes to the Lord, man, getting vengeance. Right? Let's go to the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 9. The Lord will take anybody out. He don't spare nobody. Man, woman, and child. Ezekiel chapter 9, and we're gonna start at verse 4. Right? It says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Right? So this is during the time of Ezekiel. The Lord was finna kill everybody. He said, go through and set a mark on the people that's sighing and crying. That's sick of this world. Right? Didn't he do the same thing with Lot? Let me hold that real quick. And let me go to 2 Peter. Same thing with Lot. right? 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse number 7. Right? It says, and delivered just Lot, vexed, mad. Vexed mean mad. You angry with it. Right? Vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. He was vexed with it. Right? Let me keep going. It says, for that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. So he was vexed with it. He wasn't happy. He wasn't cool with it. He wasn't accepting of it. You see, with the Lord, you got to choose what side you're going to be on, man. You got to choose what side you're going to be on. Right? Let me get another precept. Then I'm going to come back to Ezekiel. Right? Let me go to the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter, let me see. I want to say it's 45. Yep, 45 and verse number 7. This is why these brothers were saved. Right? It says Psalms 45 and verse number 7. It says, thou lovest righteousness and hatest wickedness. Right? Therefore, God, thy God, have anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. And you know, you was glad if you got spared in the whole earth. If out of the whole earth, you the only one, you and your family, the ones that got spared, that'll make you kind of glad, man. Dang, I'm glad the Lord saved me. I'm glad he ain't killed me. Now, you might be a little sad that some of your loved ones died, but at the same time, if you of the righteous seed, you're going to understand. You ain't going to question the Most High. You're going to understand why he did what he did. But the point is, thou lovest righteousness and hatest wickedness. You can't be in between with the Lord. You're going to either love righteousness and hate wickedness, or still love wickedness, and you really don't like righteousness. You really don't love righteousness. It kind of get on your nerves to be righteous. It's kind of burdensome for you to be righteous. Everybody got to look at themselves, man, and ask that question, right? So Lot, he was vexed with the wickedness, right? So let's go back to Ezekiel real quick, right? It says, verse 4, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So set a mark that those people would be spared, right? It says, and to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the midst of the city, and smite. Smite mean kill. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. When the Lord get ready to see, he pitying right now. He sparing a lot of us, me included, right now. We being spared right now, but once the sparing is over, it's over. Once the judgment comes, it's here. It ain't no more time for sparing and pity at that point. Right? It said, verse 6, slay utterly old and young. Old and young, both maids and little children and women. He don't care what you man, woman, kid, baby, newborn. It don't matter. The Lord say slay all of them because he was tired of the abominations. All right, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Start in the nation of Israel. Then they began at the ancient men who were before the house. Started with the old folks, man, because they done had the most time. Right? So the Lord don't care. Right? Let's go back to Genesis. Once he done caring and having sympathy, that portion is over with. Right now, we got the grace to experience his mercy. We got the time to experience that right now. But once that's done, it's a wrap. If you make a mistake, go, hey, stop doing it, figure out a way to fix it, stop doing it, and go on. But it's time to get right. The Lord only gonna show but so much mercy and patience, right? He only gonna do it for so long, man. Right? So here he got tired of doing it. It says, verse 21, and all flesh died. Now, even with all flesh dying, the scriptures do say his mercy is still everlasting, because he still had mercy on Noah and his family, right? But with these other people, hey, it was a wrap for them, man. All flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beasts and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, and all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land died, and every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle. Now he keep on saying this because he want us to understand, like, man and cattle and the creeping things and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. He keeps saying it. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were in with him in the ark. So he emphasizing this because he want us to understand that the Lord, he ain't sweet, man. We can't just play with him and string him along and just do whatever we think we just want to do. And it don't work like that. Right? So it says in verse 24, and the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. So that means them waters stayed on the earth for 150 days. 150 days. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and the water didn't go nowhere until 150 days. Now, let me show you something real quick, just because I got time, right? Let's jump back up to verse 11. Keep that in mind. We're going to read that again, 150 days, right? Let's go to verse 11 again. All right, it says, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open. So the rain started. Everybody, if you ain't got your pen and paper out, this is the time we're going to do a little bit of math, right? Because we're going to calculate how long a month is. And if you can calculate how long a month is, then you can calculate the calendar, right? You can calculate how to pinpoint the feast days of the Lord, right? So it says in the second month, the rain started in the 17th day. Verse 24 says that those waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Okay, let's jump over to chapter 8 real quick. We're not gonna go over chapter 8, but we just gonna get this verse out of chapter 8, verse 3. It says, and the waters returned from off the earth continually after the end of the 150 days. The waters were abated, right? So the waters were abated, meaning they were gone after 150 days. All right, now watch this. Verse 4 says, and the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. So in the 7th month, the waters was gone. The water started in the 2nd month. So if we take 7 and subtract 2 from it, we got 5 months. All right, 5 months. That's how long the water was there. Now, it was there 150 days, and it was there 5 months. So if you take 150 and divide it by 5, how many days is that? 30 days. So that's how many days are in a month, a biblical month. It ain't 31 and 30 sometimes, it's 30. All right, 30 days. So that's how you can if you ever say we don't got these phones and these computers and stuff, and you trying to keep the new moon, but when you see the full moon, count 30 days, and you should see the next full moon. right? For those of you who follow the new moon, the full moon is the new moon, or whatever moon you follow is the new moon. Count 30 days and you should see the moon cycle back to that moon again. All right. So it's 30 days in a month. Just a little quick fun fact, right? Most High willing, we'll do a whole little class on the calendar, right? Right. So most High willing, you got some. So this was a pretty short chapter. All right. We probably could have went into some more things, but we're gonna leave it there for now. We'll get into chapter 8, Lord willing, next week. All right. How many verses we got? 22 verses, but it's a lot in chapter 8. So we'll spend a little more time on that, Lord willing. So most High willing, you got something out of the class. All right. It's Brother Nashan with New Wine Congregation of Israel. All right. With that, I'm going to say, Shalom. Kwam Yasha.